because my chair is squeaky, and I bought the WD-40, the spray on it. But I haven't done it yet. It's one of those things that I'm going to get round to doing. Yeah. But anyway, welcome back to another episode of Tell Me Where I'm Going Wrong, a podcast. I can't even speak. A podcast where two exes who are good friends talk about lots of different topics, whatever we want to, whatever takes our fancy, including politics, pop culture, I don't know, everything else. And how are you doing, Josh?
Hi, Sean. I'm okay, thank you. I'm just, we still are working on we're still workshopping our succinct, our succinct introduction to the podcast. But yeah, the downfall of civilization. There are many other topics. Celebrity deaths.
Saying that we're workshopping, it means that we give some occasional thought, or
it means, I don't know if you heard me at the intro there, but it's like on one of those tasks on the list of life admin. It's on the list. Whether it will ever get done remains to be seen. But
what else have you got on your life admin list?
Oh my god! Like it's so tedious and boring. Like listeners don't want to hear, but it's like sort out bank accounts and.
Well, this is my leading into my rant. One of my rants for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Could I just say, before you get started,
yes.
I'm so red. I walked home from work. It's so windy here today in London, and I feel like I've got windburn. I feel like I've just been out in the tundra, in the Arctic tundra. I mean, it's not cold, but it's just so windy.
And did you get rained on?
A little bit, but I don't really mind the rain so much. But
how tedious that being a podcast based in England, that all we do is talk about the weather. It's so tedious. Do people do it in other countries?
Yeah, but the British are notorious for it,
Yeah, that's all we seem to talk about, or it's the first thing you say to someone when you see them. I was just outside before, and I ran into an ex-colleague, and I haven't seen for a year. There were so many things I could talk about, but of course, one of the first things I said was, "Oh, it's a shame about the weather today." Because, it's raining and it's windy and it's not cold, but it's not super enjoyable weather. I mean, I'm sure
it's a bit grim. It's a bit grim.
I'm sure some people enjoy it though.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, tell me about your life.
Well, I'd just say the only way I'd enjoy this is if I was in like a country cabin or something, or a cottage with a roaring fire and it was windy and rainy outside. I'd love that.
Yeah, a cliff top cabin.
I remember when we went to Ireland and how windy and wet it was.
Oh my god.
And we were driving past all these little cottages, and I just thought that would be so nice. I could stay there for a month with this weather.
So yeah, was that last year, that trip? So
yeah,
Sean, Hill and I and a family member visiting from Australia, we did a road trip around Ireland. It must have been before we started the podcast then. But I made them drive. Well, I made them drive. I did all the driving, but I made them come with me to this place called Slieve League, I think is how you pronounce it. And it's on the far sort of northwest coast in Donegal. And it's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be this incredibly dramatic mountain that just drops down into the Atlantic Ocean. And we drove for hours and hours and hours. And it was really pretty. It was pretty scenery. We got there and it was the most intense wind I've ever experienced in my whole life, and it was horizontal rain. So the rain was coming in horizontally with such force that you couldn't look out. You couldn't see.
I'm surprised that, because it's like a national park kind of thing. What are they called in Ireland? Like here we have the National Trust. What is it in Ireland?
I don't know.
And I'm surprised that they didn't lock the gate to get in there, because it was dangerous. I mean, we could have been swept up by the wind.
You had to lean at about sort of 30-degree angle into the wind to stop yourself getting blown over, and you couldn't see the mountain. You could just about make out the ocean, and you couldn't look directly out towards the ocean because the rain was coming in so with such force that it would like hurt your eyes. It was like having someone throw gravel in your face.
But there
So
was
if you
nothing
wanted
to
to,
even see. Like it was just a
well,
wall of grey water.
you could just about make out the crests of waves
Oh,
barely,
I
but
couldn't see anything.
you had to sort of do that. For those who are listening, not watching, I'm like holding my hands over my eyes and just opening my fingers like a tiny slit. It was intense.
I loved Ireland, and I love Ireland, and I love going there. I find it beautiful. Even the bad weather, I enjoy it, but that there wasn't much positives to take out of that. Not many positives to take out of that experience
What
because
that
we
sleeve
couldn't,
league,
yeah, we
yeah.
couldn't see anything.
I mean, it was exhilarating. The force of the wind and rain was quite exhilarating. Or maybe it's
Yeah.
because I've been just been driving for like I don't know 3 hours or something. But
And we did get absolutely drenched. Like
yeah,
like every
oh
part of us was sopping with water,
yeah,
and we had
yeah.
to get back in the car and go to the Airbnb and try and dry off. But it was beautiful. I loved it. But that's the chance you take when you go somewhere like Ireland. It could
Well,
be beautiful, or it could be like torrential, windswept. Is it Atlantic Ocean? Is that where?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
It's
Well,
made me feel.
anyway,
It made me feel all like chilled and cozy,
I just
like
want to
just thinking
snuggle
about.
up with a cup of hot chocolate.
Right. Well, anyway, my rant for the week,
Hmm.
and this is partially my fault, but of course, I'm trying to deflect blame onto other people and organizations.
Hmm.
When I moved into this rental property, I thought that I had signed up with Octopus Energy. Okay. And I signed up.
Which is
They
an
asked,
electricity company.
yeah, it's like a power supply company. They supply gas and electricity. I signed up. They asked me for my meter reading. So I gave them the meter readings for electricity and gas. And then every month, this is another thing, don't get me started. Why in the UK you have to do your own meter reading every month is bizarre to
Hmm.
me when you're paying them all this money. So anyway, every month I get an email from them saying, "Hey, your electricity and gas meter readings are due again. Can you please give them? Here's
This
the
isn't
link."
this isn't the thing you've talked about on the pod before, is it? Where you get to do a free spin.
Yes.
And yeah, you've
Right.
talked about this on the podcast before.
Okay. This is
Yeah.
not the drama I'm having today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's another issue I have with them.
All right.
Octopus, if you're listening, your free spin doesn't work. Anyway, I and then so I do the meter readings every month, and then money is just taken out of my bank account, a direct debit. I've never looked at the bills. I've just seen the amount has come out. Every now and then they say, "Hey, this is how much you've got in credit." Anyway, today I got a letter, two letters, one from British Gas and one from a debt collection agency.
Okay.
British Gas have saying, "Hey, dear occupier," not even to my name, "Dear occupier, we thought we'd give you a friendly nudge. We've noticed you've currently an outstanding gas balance of £17.88." I'm like, "Okay, well, what's that?" And then I opened up the other letter from a debt collection agency working on behalf of British Gas saying, "You haven't paid for your gas in your flat since May 2023." I didn't even live here then. Like that's a year
Okay.
before I moved in.
Yeah.
"You owe us, we're collecting this money on behalf of British Gas. You owe us £783 and 27 pence." Anyway, I went out and I got my Octopus bills, which I looked at. I've been giving them my meter reading at their request. They've only been charging me for electricity. And
Ah,
I
okay.
just assumed I was paying them for my gas because they gave them my meter readings every month when they asked me. And
Hmm.
so the amount of time I was on the phone today, like one of the calls to British Gas was 49 minutes,
Hmm.
one to Octopus was 35 minutes,
Hmm.
and then there have been multiple calls. So hours.
Hmm.
And so British Gas said they don't know what's happened. They don't know how this property has been getting gas for years without anybody paying for it.
Hmm.
I've told them that I moved in. Sorry, this is such a long, boring story, but to say that when I spoke to Octopus and I said, why have you been asking me for my meter reading if I'm not paying for my gas? And they were like, we don't know. We don't know why we've been asking you. We shouldn't have been. And we can see how that made you think that you were paying for your gas.
Right.
And so now, anyway, I had to get all the meeting readings that I did give Octopus over the last year. They gave me a list.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've sent them to British Gas, and British Gas are going to recalculate the amount I owe. It'll probably be about half that. And
Mm.
I'm just so annoyed. Like, that story was long. How annoyed am I having to even go through it? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you get away with a lot of this stuff because you live with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Not to dox you on the pod, but
Mm.
you don't have to go through a lot of this stuff. But the administration of being a
Oh, I
human
know.
is
I
so
know.
tedious, right? What's the biggest argument you've been in with like bill discrepancies?
Oh my God. I don't know. Do you know what? There are many, but I think they're tedious, and maybe our listeners don't want to hear them because it's so
It's
tedious, and like
it's relatable though.
I think everyone's been through something like that, though. Where you just feel like you're a tiny, tiny cog in this gigantic,
Hmm.
like awful, terrible machine, and you're trying to just scrape or claw back one tiny bit of justice in the universe.
Yeah,
And everything is set up against you. There is no humanity left anymore. It's just everything's automated, and it's so hard within an organization, a large organization, to speak to a human and then to have actually any human logic applied to a situation. So you
yeah.
might talk to someone and they might say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll sort this out for you," and then
Oh
the
yeah, like
problem just
this
continues.
one person I spoke to after a while said, I'm going to put you through to another department because that property was on our old system, which I don't deal with. And when I got put through to this other person at British Gas, they said, oh no, that's not true. They shouldn't have put you through to me, but I'll try to help you anyway. They should have helped you. Like
My God,
they don't know their ass from their elbows there.
no, no.
What's that
Oh,
Dolly song? You
oh,
don't
you don't
know.
know shit from
Yeah,
Shinola.
but Dolly doesn't say shit.
Well, no, you don't know something.
Is
Yeah,
it
what
your
did you say?
shoe from Chanel? I don't know. But
No,
Dolly doesn't like to swear. Have you ever
no.
heard Dolly Parton swear?
Yeah, well, I think she does in that song. I think not, maybe not in the chorus, but I think there is a part in that song where she does say the word shit. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Apologies, Dolly, if that's not true. But
Do, she's got a book coming out about, is it like her costumes or her outfits across her career?
oh,
Like she
really?
just releases so much absolute trash of like
Oh,
books, perfumes, makeup, food,
pet clothes.
pet clothes. Like have you like
She's
she's
got
got these
wine.
like
She's got wines out now. She's got Dolly wines.
how how many people buy everything Dolly though? Or is it
There'd be a
just
lot.
release enough stuff that a lot of people will buy the wine, but then also another set of people will buy the bake at home pre-mixed cakes. I think
Yeah.
she's got a range of like pre-baked pre-mixed cake mixes with her sister,
Oh, right. Yeah.
like one of her sisters, like they've done it together.
Hmm.
It's just wild. And
Yeah.
like there was probably jewelry and yeah, clothing.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
What's interesting was when I went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where Dollywood is. Um, on the main strip, there are lots of shops and motels and bars and stuff. None of them had any Dolly themed stuff. Like whoever's managing her, business empire and her merchandising is keeping a really tight rein on it. Like because I was expecting there to be loads of cheap knockoff, unofficial Dolly stuff all along the main strip, and there was none. So they
yeah,
must really be keeping a tight rein on it. They must try and funnel all Dolly merchandise sales through the website or through the theme park.
I'm sure I've asked you this before, but how were you in Pigeon Forge and you didn't go to Dollywood?
Well, because for a couple of reasons, I was driving cross country with my brother, and we had a tight deadline. We had to get across the country in 5 days, and so we didn't have time. And also because I promised my oldest friend Anna, aka Sue, um, we both turn 50 next year, and so we've been planning for ages now, for years and years. We've been planning for our 50th. We're going to go to Dollywood, so that's
So
that's still the plan
what
for
what year
now.
what month are you going to go?
I think we'll probably go in September next year after the schools have gone back. Weather should still be good, and yeah, it should be a bit cheaper.
People on this podcast who listen regularly are going to have to put up with us talking about that for the next year and a half or
Yeah,
year and a month,
yeah,
where it gets closer and closer,
yeah.
and we
Are
keep
you are
talking.
you and Hill going to join us? I mean, everyone's invited.
Everyone listening,
Yeah, anyone can come.
I would love to go, but I'm scared of going to the United States of America. But I don't know if I should talk too much about that on the pod
No,
because,
it's a bit. Yeah,
and I
yeah,
mean that's horrible that we're scared to talk about stuff for
yeah,
fear of
definitely.
reprisal. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's I
yeah,
feel vulnerable because of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a real thing that people are getting their devices, scanned, searched, taken away from them, and sort of scoured for any sign of anti-Trump or just anti-US sentiment. So yeah, I think it's everyone's a bit warier now about what they say and do online.
And this being documented, this conversation in in a year, I mean, the technology might already exist where they pull up my name and anything that's been cataloged online, like
Mm-hmm.
the or searchable online, there might be
Yeah,
like the synopsis of this episode might be, oh, and in this he
yeah,
complained about the USA being a
yeah,
dictatorship or whatever, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
that might be readily searchable within seconds
Yeah, or they
by
could
somebody.
use, if they're not already, they could use AI to do things like that, like scour videos to. I mean, I don't know how AI works exactly in the sense that I don't know if AI would have the capacity to, if you gave it a URL of, say, a YouTube video, for example, would it be able to not, play? I don't know if that's even the
Well,
word because that
well,
sort
it
of,
does
that anthropo. Yeah.
because when we record this, the platform we're recording this on, you get a text version of.
Yes. Yeah, but that's basing it on the transcript, whereas I don't know whether AI would have the ability to just access a transcript of a video or not. I don't know. I don't know how it works,
Do you
but
know when I make an Instagram reel and I just talk and I say, hey, there's this fat gay vegan, I ate this pie,
hmm
it uses voice recognition to transcribe that into text overlay,
yeah,
that captions to go on top. So
mm,
there must be, or there will be, the technology that could listen to, I don't know, 100 videos of
mm,
this podcast
mm,
and pick out words that it hears. Like, I mean, computers would be able to generate that in a millionth of a second, and they
mm.
would be able to know, okay, have they ever talked about Trump? Okay,
You said his name
well,
because I was going to
you
say,
said it before as well.
did I? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I did. Well, I was going to say they'd be like, yes, these podcasters use a very thinly veiled attempt at using an acronym or not an acronym, using a pseudonym
And
for
also the way when we have referred to him with a pseudonym, it's been
Mhm.
derogatory.
Yeah.
So we're digging our own grave there.
So
But
anyway, the plan is to go to Dollywood. Whether or not we'll be allowed into the country remains to be seen.
well, talking about AI,
Mm.
I sent you that link to watch that episode of
Mm.
the John Oliver show,
Yeah,
which is
you
a
sent it to me about 2 weeks ago, and that's because of like aforesaid life admin. It's taken me a long time to get around to watching
well,
it.
for anyone who doesn't know, John Oliver has I suppose it's like a current affairs commentary show that's based in the US. And he is from the UK originally. He's a journalist or a comedian or a combination thereof. And he talks about pressing issues with comedy, and
hmm
satire, but also deep dives into social justice issues. And he did an episode, or his show released an episode about AI and
hmm
all of the negative things wrong with it. What was your takeaway from watching the episode? Your main takeaway?
I suppose just that we we don't fully understand the consequences of AI, and that we we're playing with a toy that we don't, not toy, we're playing with a technology that we don't really understand. We don't understand how far reaching the damage can be or could be from it. but also that we are. It's like it's enshittification of culture and society. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's prolific in the sense that it just churns out so much stuff. Um,
But what was interesting to me about, well, lots of interesting things about it, but one thing that jumps to mind is how difficult it is becoming to tell AI from non-AI generated content.
yeah,
I mean, obviously there are some things that, like he gives a famous example of those cat cartoon cat
yeah,
videos,
yeah.
but there are other things where it'll be an airplane on fire
hmm
or a city being bombed,
those explosions and stuff. Yeah,
and that's completely generated by AI.
yeah. And it
And
makes you. And then now what when I watched that, I was like thinking back about some of the things that I've consumed online in the last 6 months. That and I think I'm relatively savvy about what could or couldn't be AI, and I can often pick stuff up and be like, yeah, that's clearly AI. But then
yeah,
I was thinking, like, I've watched, like all sorts of weird shit that shows up in my like algorithmic feed, like the 10 most powerful tornadoes or stuff like that, or tsunami stuff, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, and I'm thinking back, and I'm like, well, how do I know that that was actually real?
And that is the thing, is that as people who aren't data analysts or computer scientists, we don't have the tools. All we've got is our common sense. But when your
Mm,
brain is telling you something looks real, it's your brain then also tells you, oh, well, you can believe this. But
yeah.
I found myself, this is what I wanted to say, and it's similar to what you just said, is that I find myself just not believing anything anymore
hmm hmm
because I don't trust it. So,
Yeah.
there was those videos of Beyonce in concert where she goes around the stadium or the arena where she's performing on this latest tour, and she's in the back of like a Cadillac or a convertible car that's suspended on wires, and
Mm,
she's going around and she's singing one of her songs, I don't know. And in one of the shows, the car malfunctioned and it started hanging sideways. And of course, she's strapped on with a rope around her waist or a harness around her waist. The first few times I saw that, I just thought, "Oh, that's AI," and I dismissed it. I thought
hmm
that's not something I need to waste my time on. But then
hmm
it started popping up in other reputable um, sites, like maybe the
mm,
BBC, or
mm,
I mean, the BBC is problematic, but it started showing up on news outlets that have to do due diligence. And I thought, oh,
yeah.
well, that is real then.
Well,
But
there's a footnote to that though.
hmm,
I'll come back to.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the chances are that that was real. And then it also happened. Katy Perry was doing a similar thing. She was on a big butterfly suspended, and just a few weeks ago, she was going around the arena and it malfunctioned and it dropped about 3 or 4 feet just suddenly and it jolted her.
hmm
And I thought, oh, that's fake. And then it turned out lots of fans and online news agencies were like, oh, no, this was real.
hmm
And I thought, okay, I don't know what to believe is real or not because I'm now priming my brain to be suspicious of everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, if I see something that could affect my well being or the future of, say, the country where I live or my voting intentions, how can I make a judgment that's sound if I don't
Yeah.
know whether to believe what's true or not?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you wonder whether we are heading towards a point in the future where we have to actually disconnect from technology more than we have been because there'll be no surefire way of knowing what is authentic and what is not. And without that proof available to us, it's a incredibly dangerous place. Like,
But in that video, and they showed examples of younger people laughing at their parents who were
yeah,
fooled by AI. And there was
yeah,
that person looking at a video of a like this miniature horse wearing boots or something.
Yeah, I can't
And
remember what it was.
the person's mother was saying, "My God, look at this horse! Isn't it weird looking? But isn't it cute? Oh, it's so amazing! What a lovely horse!" And the person, like I assume is this woman's daughter, was laughing, saying, "Mum, that's AI."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the person was saying, "No, it's not. It's a real horse. Look." And
yeah,
so that's one tiny example
yeah.
of what's going to happen when it shows a politician engaged in
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
illegal activity and like hundreds of thousands, if not million people just accept that as true.
Yeah, and once you've seen something, it's like that then becomes the truth, whether it is true or not.
It
Like,
leaves an imprint in your brain.
yeah, yeah,
And then what about John Oliver made a good point of where's that distrust that's been sowed, like I'm talking about how I have distrust,
hmm,
that then allows people like Donald Trump to get away with blaming things on fake news or misinformation or AI.
hmm,
So if there, it comes out maybe that his name is all through the Epstein files,
yeah,
and he'll say, "Oh, well, that's all been generated by AI. That's fake." Or if there's a
yeah,
video of him harassing somebody or saying something outrageous on TV,
hmm,
and he has done this, he said,
hmm,
"I never said that. Somebody's used AI to generate me saying that," and
yeah,
then everyone just moves on.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's almost like it's ruined our moral compass or our
hmm,
ability to be critical thinkers around right and wrong
yeah,
because
yeah,
nothing matters.
yeah.
What were you going to say about a footnote before about
Oh, just
BBC?
when you said about the BBC and a website that you would, or a news source that you would assume is doing their due diligence. There was an article. I'll see if I can dig out the article from a few months ago, and I'll put it in the show notes if I can find it. But it was about a an American psychiatrist perhaps, who had been, and I wish I could remember her name, but she'd been writing articles for several news agencies, including BBC, about various things, mostly about sort of, like agony aunt style. I know that's a very gendered term, isn't it? But, that sort of like, interpersonal relationships and professional relationships, sort of agony aunt type stuff, right?
Advice column.
Yeah, exactly. And they'd been this psychiatrist, this American psychiatrist, had been quoted in lots of BBC articles and lots of other online sources as well. Then an investigative journalist then tried to get hold of this person. Turns out they didn't exist, or if they do exist, there is no proof that can be found that they exist, and so it was assumed that it was all AI generated, and so the BBC and other news outlets had to then retrospectively go back and edit those articles to say, the quote from so and so cannot be verified. We cannot verify the source, whatever. And so, even quote unquote reputable news sources, trustworthy news sources, can also be fooled by this. No one's immune from the effects of it or the potential for it to infiltrate our minds.
What was that similar story of there was a councillor running in a local election in the UK, and the the photo used people were saying was AI generated.
Wasn't it a
It's a,
reform candidate?
yeah, and they were saying, "Oh, look, somebody's used this to make up a fake candidate."
Hmm.
But then I think they a news and it was reported as, "Oh, people are saying this."
Mm-hmm.
But then this real person came forward and said, "No, that's me. It's just a bad
Yeah.
photo."
Yeah.
But um, that's already there. Like that's what we're saying. It leaves an imprint with people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people that wouldn't have seen the follow up
Right.
corrections to that, saying,
Right.
"Actually, no, it was just this idiot who didn't know how to use,
Yeah.
Photoshop and didn't know how to do interviews and was never interviewed or and but already hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all around the world have
Mm.
read that a political party used AI to generate a fake candidate, and
Yeah.
now that will never be corrected for a majority of those people.
Yeah. I mean, there's a part of me, a small part of me, that isn't overly concerned, but if you know what I mean, like I'm generally speaking, I am concerned about AI and it's the way it can manipulate society. But then there's a small part of me that thinks, well, this is what all technology has done since humans started using technology. Technology alters our perception of reality. And we normally can manipulate the technology to give us a result that pleases us. So, I'm thinking of like the sort of technology in the recording industry. So,
Yeah.
go back 60 years, there wasn't as much technology available in music recording, and so things like pitch correction and stuff like that, like vocal treatments and stuff that use technology, they didn't exist, but they were employed and they were used to give us a finished product that was more pleasing and was more in line with what we wanted it to sound like. Um,
But but do you think that, yeah, like you're right, like types of technology alter history from when people first started painting on caves to like making paper and writing
mhm.
books. All of that has taken, it has required societies to develop critical analysis of those art forms to understand what is true, what is opinion, what
Yeah,
is
but
like.
I think it's always been slightly like we've always been playing catch up to it.
But don't you feel that it is rapidly increasing with speed? So
Yeah.
we, what it takes for our societies to develop those critical analysis skills for a new technology
Hmm.
can't can't develop at the speed that AI is changing and having a negative impact. So
And
you're gonna,
also,
yeah,
yeah,
you get,
the other thing I was going to say, and also the difference with, I suppose, with AI as opposed to just standard technology, is that AI has the potential to initiate or instigate um, news articles or things like that. Like it has the ability to think for itself. Whereas all in the past, technology has always required human. We've been the top of the food chain, if you like. If you're looking at it in that perspective, we've been the ones controlling technology. But
yeah,
now, technology has the ability, perhaps, to think for itself. Or if you're going to use human anthropocentric, is that the word,
yeah,
terms.
yeah. So
um
if you used in the olden days, if you used Google or Bing or
mhm.
Yahoo search, what are some of the other old ones? I can't remember.
Alta Vista,
Navigator or something.
GeoCities.
So if you
Yeah.
use those,
Ask Jeeves.
they were mostly, until recently, they were mostly retrieval systems, like
Yeah.
information retrieval systems.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to have AI models built into them as well.
Hmm.
So when you used google.com,
Yeah.
it will give you at the top of your search results, it will give you an AI generated.
Yeah.
It gave me something the other day that I was searching for some information, and the AI on Google gave me this information that I used, and I went and contacted the person or the company that it said that I should contact in regards to this. I'll tell you when we get off. And this person said, I have no idea
Right.
why that would say that. And now when I go back and I look for actual retrievable bits of information that are not AI generated, I can't find anything related to what the AI
Mm,
model of Google told me. So I don't know where the
yeah.
hell it got it from.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I mean, this is very, it's quite a boring example, but yeah, like I remember at work a while back, and I searched because I was pretty sure I knew the answer, but when a customer asks you something, you want to make sure you're giving
yeah,
them the right information, and it was about whether you could use ericaceous compost for citrus plants because ericaceous compost it's boring. I told you, it's very plant geeky, but ericaceous compost has a higher pH, so it's more acidic.
yeah,
Or is that a lower pH? Anyway, whatever. It's more acidic. And I was pretty sure that citrus trees like an acidic compost. And so I'm sure that, when I potted up my lemon tree or my lime tree in the past, I've used ericaceous compost and I've Googled it at the time just to make sure. And yes, people say it's fine. So I Googled it and the AI response said, no, you cannot use ericaceous compost for citrus. And I said to the customer, "Oh, I don't have time now to research it, but Google's telling me that you can't, but I thought you could. Anyway, and then I went back later and I did, I mean, when I say research, I mean, I literally spent about 20, 30 seconds reading the website of a citrus grower
Yeah.
saying, yes, you can use ericaceous compost. So even something as simple as that,
Did you
AI.
call? Did you call the customer to let them know?
No, I didn't know who it was. I didn't know, I didn't have a number for them or anything. So, but
So this you can also, I've found, in a way, steer things like ChatGPT to tell you what you want to hear.
oh, really?
Yeah, so it will often give you, correct or vaguely correct information. But
Mm-hmm.
if you ask it a leading question, like, hey, do you think it's possible if I do this and it can have positive outcome for me?
Right.
It will
Okay.
say, and a lot of people do that to get away with stuff or get it to
Yeah.
say things, and it will say, oh, yeah, if you do this and just be mindful of this, this, and this, yes, that is okay. Right.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so where people are using it, society is using it in a way not only as information retrieval, but as like a moral
Moral
or
justification.
ethical justification or navigation system.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it is just telling us anything, either falsehoods or what we want to hear, or
Yeah.
sometimes the truth. And it
Yeah.
is dangerous.
Yeah. But
But
I mean, I suppose that any seeking moral reassurance from any outside source, whether it's human or AI, is always open to just telling you what you want to hear.
yeah, but there is, like, if I came to you, for instance, and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking of become involved in this, I don't know, investment scheme, or I'm thinking of going and starting this nightclub," you would give me reasons for and against that were based on a nuanced understanding of me, of the world we live in, of what I've been through in my life. An AI model is never going to be able to do that. And so
Mm.
it's stripping the humanity out of advice giving.
Do you think we'll ever get to a point, or maybe we've already gotten there and it just hasn't been reported on yet, where AI or misinformation from AI generated responses can be used as a defense for a crime? And I mean, I don't mean like a serious crime, but like someone could say, "Oh, well, I googled that and I thought I was within the law, or I thought I was
Oh,
following the rules," or
yeah. Like, I think people are using ChatGPT and other AI models to defend themselves in court.
all
And
right, but
there
not
have
live, like not a live, like
some people have.
really.
And like, if you're sat there with a tablet and you're using it, but other people have used it to write arguments. And some judges have said that they're quoting precedents or cases that don't exist. That that AI has generated fake case names, or so and so versus so and so,
Hmm.
and then when people have looked them up, they don't exist. But ChatGPT or AI models have told them that they exist.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's very dangerous. Um,
Yeah.
and how, our public service or structures and organizations are overwhelmed. There will be doctors and GPs using ChatGPT to ask for answers for medical questions for their
Yeah,
for their
that's true.
patients. I mean,
Yeah.
we all use it,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know where it's going to lead to. I don't think that as
Well,
a
this is it.
society,
Like we're not gonna switch off from technology, are we?
yeah.
I can't envision a scenario in which we completely detach ourselves from technology. Um,
And then what
yeah.
isn't there a story about a young man who was talking to one of these. There's an AI model that works as, like, you can hire it, not hire it, but use it to talk to you like it's your girlfriend or partner.
Oh, lots. Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah. So there's I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, maybe now, or last year, but there was a person who said her son talked to an AI chatbot, and it eventually encouraged him to take his own life, and he did.
Really?
And she's saying that she had proof that you go back and look at the the conversations. Now, obviously, you don't look at that without thinking about mental illness, that somebody would go, but that's incredibly worrying because
Yeah.
everybody has access to this technology. Not everybody
Mm.
has access to mental health support,
No.
mental
No.
illness support, which are
And
two different.
many of us struggle with mental health
Yeah,
issues.
yeah. And
And
also, like I was listening to uh what's the Frankie Boyle podcast called?
no,
Um,
yeah, I can't remember.
I was just listening to it today, but they were making the point um, uh, of mental health and mental illness being two different things, right? So
Hmm.
your and my mental health might feels like it's suffering sometimes if we're stressed or we feel like we're having a panic attack. That's
Hmm.
having a bad or a negative experience with your mental health. But mental illness is where somebody needs an intervention of either medical or a psychiatric intervention
Hmm.
because they have a condition or an illness that impacts them living a balanced life. So
Hmm.
it's not just support for feeling down or stressed or anxious or panicked.
Hmm.
There's a stark difference. So if we
Hmm.
have people living with mental illness and it's not being treated or it's not being treated to the way that it needs to be, are
Hmm.
having access to these AI models that are telling you all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that going to work out for people?
I have no idea. I mean, but then on the flip side of that, I listened to a podcast. I'm just trying to remember which one it was. I think,
Sorry,
yeah.
I do need to just say the name of the podcast in case
Oh, yeah,
anyone
the
wants to
Frankie Boyle
listen.
one.
Here comes the guillotine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here comes the guillotine. Um, and well, I can't remember. I have to see if I can find it in my history, but a podcast which was talking about the use of AI in helping people with, particularly people with psychosis, particularly people on the schizophrenic spectrum who were hearing voices, and using AI to generate sort of what do they call it? What do you call the little like the little icons, little representations of people?
Avatars?
Avatars, yeah, thank you. Using that to generate avatars for multiple personalities or voices that they'd heard, so that they could externalize it. And that had really helped with some people. So yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's again like it's a very powerful tool. It just depends how it's employed, and who and the filtering abilities of the person or people receiving that. Um,
I have used ChatGPT as a tool to do some things like filling out Hill's application for his visa.
mhm.
But in that case, it works more as a retrieval thing. It doesn't make up um,
Right.
immigration rules. It uses the search function to search precedents online. So it searches the Australian government website. It
Yeah.
searches,
But again, how can you trust it to, like you were saying
well,
about the
what
people?
what I do
Mhm.
is I don't rely on it as a standalone tool. I use
Mm.
it and then I use my own common sense. I use
Yeah.
my previous experience of immigration services. I also go on online forums where other people are dealing with similar issues in real time. And I
Hmm.
see what other people are asking and I ask questions. And
Hmm.
so people say, oh, well, when I filled this form out, this was the response I got. And then I compare it with what ChatGPT tells me or suggests. So I
Right.
would never go just to ChatGPT and then just think that's the be all and end all of it.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
so in that way, I see it works. But
Hmm.
one other issue with the John Oliver, um, what John Oliver brought up in that episode was that what he referred to as AI slop. So
Yeah.
these videos that are just nonsense of like a human transforming into a giraffe and then having robot legs, or
Hmm.
that cat adopting a baby panda or whatever. All these nonsense videos that mean nothing and they just brain rot.
Hmm.
That artwork or that content is generated from scraping other people's artwork,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't know how to create art or what something looks like. It takes maybe a million or a billion or a trillion images related to your key search words, and
Mm.
then it generates a new, in inverted commas, piece of artwork, but
Yeah.
informed by all these other things. And all of these other things that it's being informed by might be copyrighted or the intellectual property of somebody else,
Yeah.
oftentimes an artist who has been paid badly. And
Yeah.
it's not, there's no traceable way of knowing what it's been inspired by. And that is
No.
hugely problematic, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's hard enough to make a living, or to exist in the world, as an artist in any medium. But yeah, like to know that any of your output can just be like that, like in that example, when AI used that wood sculptor,
Mm-hmm.
British wood sculptor, and basically just reinterpreted his work in ways without giving it credit. Um, yeah, like it's
But
just
who does that, or does these AI programs just send out tendrils into the internet and search for images that match what it's looking for? Or does somebody have to program it to be able to do that?
no, it would have algorithms built in to be able to do that itself. But I don't know. Like again, as shit as that is for artists, what's stopping me from doing that? I mean, often when I write a song, I'm thinking of an artist, or I'm thinking of a particular song by an artist. So it's like, you
But
know,
if you like the instance you gave there, sorry, the example you
example.
gave of that woodcutter,
Hmm,
it was clear that he was in his likeness was in some of these AI generated things, standing next to these sculptures that he didn't make. So
hmm,
it's clear, but I don't know what the legal repercussions of that are. Like
hmm,
what are the legal repercussions for somebody? Like so when you talk about writing a song, if
hmm,
you write a song that too closely resembles somebody else's composition, you
hmm,
could be sued for that.
hmm,
And it's
hmm.
happened, there are many famous cases of that.
Yeah,
But there's going to have to be like a crack in the dam of like AI misappropriation of intellectual property or people's likenesses. Like, look at all the fake videos. I saw a video online the other day of a music video of Lady Gaga and Michael Jackson singing, and it's both of their voices singing together, and it's both of them computer generated in this music video together. Who has the right to who do you even go after for that? Like, who do you
yeah,
go and say, I don't want my image used in that way?
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
It's our AI. The pace of AI outstrips our ability to build frameworks of safety and legal accountability around it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just growing at such an exponential rate that it could lead us to a very, very distressing, horrible place.
And if you want to be some more ethically minded about where you source your content from, how do you know that you can rely on other people that you're getting content from? Say, for instance, if
Mm,
I hired a graphic designer to
mm.
make a poster for one of my events and they used AI, how would I know that they used AI?
Right. Yeah.
How would I know that they haven't, like I want to pay somebody who's done the hard
Well,
work and needs to be rewarded.
I suppose that's something that we're probably gonna. It's probably already out there, but you're probably gonna have see that a lot more in contractual things. So when you have a contract for a service or goods or a service, there'll be a clause about AI. So, for example, now when I upload the podcast to YouTube, I have to tick a box saying, was any AI used in the creation of the sound or image in this video? And I don't have to do that when I upload to Spotify, which is where the Apple
Mm-hmm.
Podcast feed comes from. But for YouTube, I do. So, I think, but that will be something that we see more and more, and it will be something in, I don't know, for example, job applications.
Yeah.
That will be a question. Have you used AI to? But then, I mean, I suppose, you know, like any device, like any form of technology, the person who is using it is ultimately going to have the final say, like in or the final judgment in how much they think they can get away with. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I find it a little bit overwhelming, like
Mm-hmm.
to think where are we going with this, especially around disinformation when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
Did you see the massive protest that made the news here in Sydney?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people marching in support of Palestine, and
Mm-hmm.
there was, I mean, social justice groups are saying it's around 100,000 people. Of course, a lot of mainstream news channels were trying to downplay that number, like they often do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a weird thing that news outlets do, but
Mm-hmm.
now even the news outlets are saying, yeah, it was somewhere near 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And what could happen with now there are all of those images of those 100,000 people marching in support of Palestine against the genocide. Those images, tens of thousands of them, are all around the world being fed into AI algorithms, and they
Yeah.
can be used for something else.
Yeah.
Somebody could turn it into take a still photo of 100,000 people on the Harbour Bridge and
Mm.
turn them into a moving crowd holding Trump signs saying we love Trump, or
Yeah.
like it's just it makes you fearful about how your own image or your own actions could be used for nefarious reasons.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
But
anyway,
what's the solution, or what's the counter
yeah.
to that? Do we just have to go back to scraping around in the mud and digging in the dirt with sticks, and do we eschew all forms of technology? Because I mean, the other thing is we're just talking about sort of artistic, well, not artistic. We're talking about what's the word? Not conceptual stuff. But we're talking about immaterial things like news reports. We're
Mhm.
talking about I don't know, artistic license and theft of art or artistic ideas. But the I suppose the more pressing concern really would be what if, I mean, we've all seen like the sort of scaremongering headlines about what AI could do. Because if a human types in a question, says like, how can I stop global warming? Well, one solution to that would be to kill all humans, as to quote
Bender,
Family, yeah, not Family Guy,
Futurama.
Futurama.
Hey, sexy mama, want to kill all humans?
Yeah, which was the joke about, robots wanting to just kill humans and take over the planet.
Yeah.
Well, when we type in questions about what to do, like how do we stop people going hungry? How do we solve global warming? How do we stop the sea level from rising? Well, you know, one solution would be so that, if AI gets to a point where it's able to independently contract humans. I don't know. Like I don't know how it works. I'm not
Like, could
technologically.
AI start writing its own algorithm?
Yeah, yeah. Or could it actually start to affect real world change? Like, could AI um, cause power outages, or could it ground all flights? Could it, where does it end? Um,
Yeah. What? I find it a little bit
so these are
creepy.
real world, like life and death situations, not just inconveniences.
Right. Well, that's all a bit negative, isn't it? Before we go, I wanted to do a deep dive that's very niche for
Mm-hmm.
people. We sometimes talk about Madonna on here because we've both been Madonna fans in the past, not so much now. I mean, I think we both still appreciate her contributions to not only the wider popular culture landscape, but also to our own lives when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out the other day that this film director called James Foley passed away in May. And we like to talk about people who have died on this podcast. It's one of our things, it's one of our recurring themes.
I thought we were going to talk about something positive, Sean.
Well, this is kind of positive, but James. not that he died, but James Foley was the director of the Madonna movie Who's That Girl?
Okay.
And it's because I was talking to our friend Derek the other day, and Derek was saying him and Sean, other Sean, watched Who's That Girl the other day together, and they were just saying what a garbage movie it was and how ridiculously bad Madonna was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, who directed that again? And so I looked up, and James Foley, I found out, died in May this year, so a few months ago. But he also directed the Live to Tell, Papa Don't Preach, and True Blue music videos for Madonna.
Okay.
So he
Okay.
worked with her around that time. But just before that, he also directed that movie with Sean Penn called At Close Range.
All right.
And it was the one that had Live to Tell in it as the theme
Mm.
song. And then I found out that James Foley was the best man at Sean Penn and Madonna's wedding.
Oh, really?
But the Wikipedia entry says that as of 2025, when it was last updated before he passed away, that him and Madonna were not on speaking terms. And I'm like, what would it take to be the best man at somebody's first wedding to not speaking to them? But what was
Mm.
also interesting to me, and this is such a deep dive, twisted little like excursion. James Foley's first movie that he ever directed was a movie from 1984 called Reckless. And last week we were talking, or the week before, we were talking about video shops and VHS and what movies
Yeah. Yeah.
that was one that it wasn't one of our top films, but my family rented that movie quite a few
Mm-hmm.
times. And it starred Daryl Hannah
Mm-hmm.
and Aidan Quinn, who in 6 Degrees of Separation went on to star in Desperately Seeking Susan with Madonna.
Okay.
So there's this whole weird, twisted thing where they're all connected. But also, you'll be happy with this. We talked about the Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
This first movie, Reckless, the screenplay for this was written by Christopher Columbus, who also wrote the
Oh,
screenplay for
yeah.
the Goonies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So isn't that fascinating that I just went on this deep dive to find out about James Foley and what happened to him? And he's worked with the guy who wrote the Goonies. He worked with Madonna. He worked with on one of these movies that tied into like our stories about nostalgia and VHS, and it's just
Mm.
fascinating to me. But also
I'm just
one other little thing. Sorry,
yes. Go on.
he also directed an episode in
Of Twin
1991 of
Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I'm doing some
Uh,
live research now as we
so
speak. So
isn't that
yeah.
wild that this man has so many connections to things we've discussed on this podcast?
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
up
Um.
until then, up until Derek and Sean told me that they'd watch this, and I went to read about him, I would never have thought about James Foley again for the rest of my life, probably.
No.
I've seen Who's That Girl a couple of times, and also being an ex Madonna stan, I probably have seen his name written in like, when I had the Immaculate Collection music video on VHS or whatever, I probably
Mm-hmm.
saw his name come up in the credits,
Yeah.
but I would never have thought. And to know how much he was involved with her career and then even her marriage, it's
Mm.
weird to me.
Yeah.
Have you had any recent bizarre connection rabbit holes you've gone down with anybody like this?
I mean, it's I don't I know I'm not unique in this, but like whenever I'm watching something, I rarely watch it without pausing, uh, looking at the cast, looking at who the actor. Because I mean, my memory is famously not the best, and I'll often see an actor and I'll think, oh, I know them. I've seen them in something before. And I'll have to go on a deep dive on Wikipedia. But just, yeah, it's just incredible. I mean, I think I told you, didn't I? I just started watching that new Meg Stalter
Yes.
comedy,
Yeah.
Too Much.
Uh-huh.
And just all of the cameos. I mean, they're obviously the big names, like, Naomi Watts and Richard E. Grant and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but all of the other people who I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I recognize them from something, and so I do it all the time, and I know a lot of
Oh,
people do this too. Like it's,
well, do you know, I went to the cinema the other night, to the Nickel Cinema, to see
oh yeah,
Thank God It's Friday, the
mm-hmm.
like disco film. This would have been your dream come true of pausing to look people up, because
Mm-hmm.
Donna Summer was in it,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Goldblum, um, I mean, so many people. The Commodores were playing themselves in it. The
Mm-hmm.
band with Lionel Richie in it,
Mm-hmm.
but also Terry Nunn was in it, and Terry Nunn is the lead singer of Berlin, and
Yeah.
she was in it like one of the lead actors, and she was so
Mm.
young, she looked like a teenager.
Wow.
And so it was so much fun seeing this movie in the cinema. Like that's another one of our like VHS wonders from when we were a kid. Thank
I
God it's Friday.
I forgot to send this to you. My friend sent me the funniest thing the other day. You would love this. It's so meta. Well, not meta, but it's just so sort of postmodern hilarious. And it was a Selena t-shirt, so the American singer Selena, and it was obviously a bootleg Selena t-shirt. And I think it was real. Could have been AI. Who knows? But someone was saying, I can't believe they put the wrong person on this t-shirt. That's not Selena. It's Amy Winehouse. But it wasn't Amy Winehouse. It was Fran Drescher. So like, it's just like three levels of absurdity.
And you know,
Um,
that's engagement farming of the person who posted it. They
mhm.
know that it wasn't Amy
Yes, yeah,
Winehouse.
yeah, exactly,
And so
exactly.
this is this thing that happens online. So people do it to enrage people. It's enragement bait to try and get people to say, "Oh, you're an idiot." That's not. Because also another thing was what platform was this on?
That was on, I think it was on Instagram.
Okay, some of these things, it's like the AI slop we're talking about,
I'll pull it
generate
up and I'll put it on screen.
it generates income for people if they could get a lot of people to interact, especially on
Right.
X, which I know you don't use anymore. But if
Hmm.
you pay to have a verified account on X, depending on how much interaction you get, you can generate revenue. So people do the most brain rotting nonsense posts just
Yeah,
to outrage other people, other users, so they get more interactions and they can earn money.
I know. Um,
What are you going to hold it up to the
well,
to the?
yeah, if I can find it, I was going to hold it up, but that's going back to I mentioned this on the podcast a few weeks ago. Um, about sorry, just
Make sure it's not
I'll be
copyright
I'll
protected.
bleep that out. But yeah, like I don't know if you can see.
Tilted back a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, Fran Drescher on a Selena t-shirt. That's
Yeah,
very funny.
and like the comment, which may or may not have been real, about I can't believe they put Amy Winehouse. But I was going to say, but you remember a few weeks ago, and I was saying there was that image my friend sent me saying "Happy 80th birthday to Bette Midler," and it was that composite image, and it was the main image was so clearly AI generated of an aged Bette Midler holding a birthday cake, and then the other two images weren't even her. It was Mayim Bialik, or one of them was Mayim Bialik. It's
From
just like,
Beaches. What? But see, yeah, that's engagement farming. That's trying to get that's somebody doing that to try and get
but
people
that
to react.
yes, but it's so dangerous because I
Mhm.
don't know. I wouldn't want to like take a stab at like what percentage, like maybe 80% of people receiving that will be like, oh my god, that's outrage, you know, or engagement, whereas
What's
20% would just accept that as
Yeah,
fact.
yeah.
Oh, look at Bette Midler, she looks so fucking old and whatever. And it's just like,
And like, oh my God, look at her when she was
yeah,
young.
look at young Bette Midler. You
What
know,
what's your most hated at the moment form of AI slop that's coming up being served to you? What's one of the ones that you hate the most?
well, I don't know because I don't know. Maybe I'm not as astute as I think I am. Maybe I'm consuming media that is
Oh,
AI
I'm
generated
on
without knowing it.
I'm
But
I'm the slopster. I get so much slop. I'm a slopopotamus bottom. I got I've got so much slop served to me. My most hated is the one that people generate these AI videos of a celebrity putting their arm around a young version of themselves. Have you seen these?
where are you
I don't
consuming
know. It
this?
just
Like,
shows up on Instagram, and so it's like Madonna letting a young, sassy 25-year-old Madonna rest her head on her shoulder, or Gaga putting her arm around like young Stephanie Gemini playing the piano when she's 9, or you know, uh,
that's so
you know,
weird.
it's so weird. And then like somebody posted a video, and once again, I don't even know if this is real or not, but somebody posted photos from a Rod Stewart concert, and up on the screen there were AI generated photos or videos of Ozzy Osbourne meeting other dead celebrities in heaven. So I don't know if that's real, if that if Rod
I
Stewart's
doubt it
management
would
really
be.
did that, and if
Oh, yeah.
what?
No, I've thought of an example. Go
Okay,
on.
yeah, what?
Yeah. Well, no, do you know the thing I hate? And I don't know if this qualifies AI generated or not, but for those of you who have not been to London and travelled on the tube, like in a lot of tube stations, as you go in, there'll be a notice board,
Oh my
and
God, I know what you're gonna
sometimes,
say.
yeah, sometimes it will be like a little poem, sometimes it will be useful information like from the 14th to the 21st of August, the district line will not be stopping at this stop or whatever. But in real life, like, because I've seen it with my own eyes, in the last, I don't know, 10 to 15 years, sometimes people who work for London Underground or TFL, whatever they call themselves, will put, like an inspirational quote or a poem or something, something to
Or
sort of brighten your
if you're
morning.
going to the O2 for a gig,
Yeah,
as you're
yeah,
coming out, they'll often have lyrics from the band that's performing, and
yeah,
I've seen that. I saw it
yeah,
when I went to see Billie Eilish.
exactly. But now there are so many things posted online, posted shared as if they were real of stuff on there, and just I don't know,
Yeah, so
just
people are creating AI generated versions of these notice boards with fake messages on them. No
mhm.
one's ever written them. They
Yeah,
don't exist in the real world. And people are sharing them like, isn't this amazing or heart touching or outrageous,
yeah,
depending on the
yeah,
content, that
yeah,
Transport for London is allowing their staff to do this. And
yeah,
it's infuriating. Like
yeah,
it's scary. Like this is the disinformation superhighway is upon us, and
hmm
we're going down this road that we might never come back from. And I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what's happening to people's brains. And the future is a terrifying place. And am I really saying this, or is this an AI generated version of me saying this?
well, exactly. I mean, all future episodes from now on might just be AI generated,
It
but
would
but
well, it'll give us some like some extra time in the week to talk to British
yeah,
Gas on the
true.
phone for 5 hours.
Fucking hell, mate. But this is it.
Fucking
Like
hell, mate! What
it
was that Australian? Fucking hell, mate!
that wasn't Australian. That was
Very
it?
Australian.
No,
Fucking hell, mate!
fucking hell, mate. There you go. That's a more British accent. Um, but it does lead us, like you say, to a point where we have to distrust every single piece of information that we're fed, um, which is a horrible way to live your life. To always be on the defensive. Well, not the defensive, on the offensive. Like
Yeah.
to be anticipating false information at any twist or turn. It's a horrible way to be.
And how are you going to police this stuff or monitor it? Like, imagine if everybody who uses the internet reported suspicious AI content, the internet would shut down. I mean,
Oh,
they wouldn't be able
yeah.
to deal with the
What we're gonna
hundreds of
use
millions.
would have to use AI to process the. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just it's bonkers. It's truly
Okay.
bonkers.
Well, I think we're wrapping up now. So,
All right,
anything else?
we'll let AI take us out then. Um, we'll just stay
What would
quiet.
if we asked AI to give us an outro? What do you think AI would say?
It would just be the same. It would be the same stuff that we always say at the outro to every episode.
Slightly disjointed or a little bit because AI isn't perfect yet. So it might be something like, "Thank you for joining us for another joyous and heart-touching episode of Tamu Going Wrong, where we talk about the poignant memories we have of childhood and how we're worried about social justice concerns and the state of the planet. And we hope you have a wonderful week and can join us again next time. But make sure you follow us on our social media platforms where we'll continue to reach out with these sorts of sentiments to you there."
That's scarily authentic, Sean.
Well, call me AI because I'm on the lam.
Oh
Just
my god.
call me AI because I'm on the scam.
Yeah, right. Um, in all seriousness, though, please do please do follow our social media channels for the podcast and for our own antics outside of the podcast as well. We mentioned it last week, but coming up at the end of this month on the 31st of August, I don't know if I've got the date right or not. we have the 3rd anniversary of the London Queer Open Mic at the Cock Tavern in Kennington. So if you're in London, come along. If you're not in London, pop in for the day if you can, and come say hi. We're going to have some giveaways, and it's going to be a real sort of celebration of 3 years of the open mic. So check that out. Details are on my Instagram at Josh and the Jumpstarts, and
And we've
also on
got
Sean's.
a new poster for it with a real photo, not a photo generated by AI. A real
Yeah,
photographer took the photo.
yeah.
So we're walking the walk, people.
What about you, Sean? Do you want to talk about what's going on?
Well, I've got this, but by the time this comes out, London Vegan Social will have happened or is happening the next day, but it does happen every month. Come and join me. And on the 1st of September, I'm hosting a fundraising supper club at Unity Diner to raise money for Surge Sanctuary to look after animals so their likenesses can be usurped by AI content.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it. Or follow me at FatGayVegan or go to fatgayvegan.com. That's it.
Okay, all right. And in the meantime, I don't know, like, just trust no one.
Trust no one and stay sloppy.
Yeah. All right. We'll be doling out more slops next week. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye bye.